This is such a big thing, right?
Thank you.
Come on, Jim. Good morning, Colin.
Morning.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. Fantastic. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for.
I wanted to be kind of businesslike.
Can I see the other girl?
Hello and welcome to Qatar's first sports podcast, In the Game. I'm your host, Steve Mackey, and we can't wait to introduce you to everything that is sports here in Qatar and afar. We're going to be bringing you personalities, company owners, institutions, individuals that are making a real difference. So, with us, enjoy the journey.
It's fun, man. Sports is fun.
Everyone, thank you for listening. Please send us your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And don't forget to review us on your favorite podcast app. Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. Again, I am so privileged to have another cohort from the QST. Mo, please get straight in there, introduce yourself and tell us all about your application.
Thank you, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Well, my name is Mo Malkawi and I'm CEO and co-founder of Armony. We're a London-based company that has created the world's first wireless communication system, specifically for football/soccer teams. We were established to solve a major problem that football coaches in the world face, which is immediate communication with their players during games and training sessions. Right now, the coaches, or before Armony was established, coaches had no other option but to shout and jump and scream on the sidelines in the hope that their simple two-word message would reach a player 100 meters away. So we figured there must be a solution, and there must be with the appetite for technology adoption that we have been seeing in the football world in the past few years. We figured we could use technology to solve this problem for coaches, and that's why we were established.
Mo, this story begun. What's your story? How did this journey all start, and why did you choose this type of thing?
Good question. Back in February 2018, I moved to London, and I was living with a best friend, a friend that I had known for years, and I was. Just that when I started talking to him about this idea, I figured that he also had the exact same idea for the past couple of years as well. So we figured we could establish a company together, and that's where we started. It was established in February 2018 in London, and it was just, an idea at the beginning. We didn't know where we would be able to reach. And we were very satisfied with what we have done thus far. So yeah, that's like a brief history.
What was your background to think that, let's take this problem on?
Yeah, I was a professional football player. I grew up in Dubai, and I started playing in professional clubs in the academies at the age of 14. At the age of 17, I got the opportunity to move to the Netherlands and play for a club there. So I did, and I lived in the Netherlands for 1 year. After that, I was called up to the Jordan national team, and I played with the Jordan national team. We actually, with the under-20s, and we actually made it, and we qualified to the World Cup, Canada 2007, the Youth World Cup. And my career as a player was short-lived. I got injured at age of 21, so I had to leave, stop my career as a player, but I didn't want to be away from football, so I became a coach. I got my coaching license from the Asian Football Confederation, and then I got the opportunity to work as a coach in Spain with Granada Football Club, and with several clubs as well, the Jordan Football Association, and with some clubs in Jordan as well. Yeah.
And forgive me for going back a little bit, but so you're playing for the national team. You must be thinking to yourself that everything is so great, and then all of a sudden you're dashed by having an injury that's put an end to your career. How did you pick yourself back up?
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, it's always hard for any player. You know, you always have that dream to become a big football star. You know, to play in Europe and to make it. And you always look, you know, watch the games and say, hey, I'm going to play in La Liga or in the Premier League. But then suddenly something happens, and you figure out it's over. You know, that your dream, that the thing that you have been dreaming of for years is over. But yeah, I mean, for me, coaching gave me the opportunity to be there, to just be able to step on the green pitch and you know, just be involved. So for me, it offered me a lot of solace, if you would.
So it really, so this experience of the hopes, and then you don't want to get out of sports, right? So you've just looked at it away and said to yourself, I'm not getting out of sports. I'm going to stay in sports, and I'm going to find a solution for a problem. With your experience with a coach, was that where it all came from? Was it that was your foresight behind it?
I would say that it played a big role. I always knew that there was a problem, but you know, when the idea came, I was actually, you know, as I said, like you never actually know when you exactly got the idea. But I've been pondering about it for years, and then you know, when I spoke about it with my friend, I figured he had also the same thing. The same idea. So, but you're right. I couldn't just leave football. It's still my life. You know, I breathe and eat football. So I just wanted to do something about it. And I think that for every founder, if you just follow your passion, do something that you're passionate about, not because you think that it's going to make you a lot of money, and not because of any other reason. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, if you don't know much about it, then you know you will not be able to just stick around when the obstacle, the big obstacles happen and show up down the road in your career.
You're 100% right, and I think that's the key to it. And it's like some of us, there's a lot of people out there that haven't got a choice to, what jobs to go for, or kind of they haven't got that luxury. But it is I suppose I've not always had that luxury in my lifetime, but it's making the most out of the position that you've got. And I suppose with entrepreneurship, you've got to work, especially in the beginning, you've probably got to keep one job down at least and try to get your idea up and running. Was that a bit like your story?
Exactly. Look, it's so easy to just, you know, sit around with your friends and say, hey, I'm going to create the next Amazon. There's a lot of money in that field. But if you don't know much about it, if you're not passionate about it, if you're just thinking that it's something that will make you rich, believe me, I mean, you can start it, you can create the beta version of your website or your prototype, but then the hard parts come down the road, you know, after 1 year, 2 years. And when you start facing all these obstacles, if you're not passionate about it, forget it. You'll just put it aside and it will die.
Yeah. And with what you've done here, how many people told you that you're crazy? It's just kind of, it's not possible. What you're asking is kind of, for one, I didn't, when I first heard about it, and I've got to say, when I first heard about it, I thought, well, hold on a second, is that allowed? Is FIFA or is the governing bodies going to allow to have communication with the captain on the field? How did you overcome these? Did you realize that there was potential problems in the beginning?
I did. You're totally right. Look, the people that will tell you that it will not work will always be more than the people that will be like, hey, this is amazing, it's gonna work. I think that applies to everyone who started a business. In our case, you're right. The thing is that we are coming up with something that will require an amendment to the laws of the game at some point. But you know what? This is what technology is all about. This is what innovation, not technology, this is what innovation is all about. It's about changing the status quo. If you just want to do something similar to what exists, but maybe a bit better, you're not really contributing to the not contributing a lot to humanity in general. You know, you're not taking humanity a step forward. If you think, I mean, we like to always give the example of Uber. I don't know how they pulled it off, but you know, I'm pretty sure that when they first pitched to investors or to customers or whatever, people were like, "Hey, this is not allowed. You know, you cannot use your private car as a taxi." And they would just be like, "Hey, this is not going to work out. It's just against the law." But you know what? Most of the innovative ideas I wouldn't say are against the law, but require some amendments to the law. If you look at the major car companies in the world, they're working on autonomous cars, driverless cars. Are they allowed now? No, but they know that whenever you create something that will help people, that will solve a problem, that will make the lives of people better, then the law is not a problem. You know, the regulators will listen to you at some point and say, "Hey, this is amazing. We'll be happy to work with you on it."
I love your story already. The one story that I always think back to was Skype. Skype had the marketplace covered. They had all the bases were theirs, and then this company called this app came through, which is WhatsApp. I thought they were crazy. I thought, who's going to waste their money in something like this? Who's going to and they didn't take no for an answer. It's like, you've just got to have that spirit that you've got, that you say, hold on a second, it's going to work. And somebody's got to start the journey, and you're doing just that. Fantastic to you. That's brilliant. How is it going for you with the product? Have you got something in place now, or are you still in working that out?
Yeah, right now we have we started out with a product that to just validate the market. It was an armband that players will wear or wore on their arm, and it served as a speaker through which the coach can communicate with them. But after the validation process, we figured that sort of pivoting to a vest that the players will wear, and the device can go between the two shoulder plates and right behind the neck would be the most appropriate place to have a device. It's just more comfortable to the players. So that's the product that we have now. We have a product that we are already selling to clubs, and it's a vest just like, you know, the GPS tracking vests. And that's one product that we have now, and we are already selling it. But we figured that because back in June 2019, the FIFA has allowed for GPS trackers to be used in official games. And right now, players are wearing it beneath their jersey. So we figured, okay, if there's already a vest there, if there's already hardware, why would we try to change or to make even bigger changes to the game, which will be faced by harsh criticism, especially from FIFA? Why can't we just put it in one, or have an all-in-one device? So we signed a partnership deal with a company called Advanced Sports Instruments in Switzerland. They have one of the best GPS tracking devices in the world. And together we're creating a new device, an all-in-one device that will have our wireless communication system in addition to their GPS tracking, performance tracking system.
Mo, that's so smart, and you've brought up a massive thing where don't be afraid to partner with some people in the industry that can offer just such a skill set and technology. It's just you've got to kind of, yeah, those type of things. Hats off to you.
Of course. I mean, getting these partnerships doesn't only provide you with the skill set that you might not have in your team or co-founders, but also the network of clubs that they have, the ability to sort of increase your reach and reach regions where you cannot just do it by yourself. I think it's vital for every startup to have these sort of partnerships with existing companies.
100%. Now, with this application, and you've worked with some players and managers, is it kind of do they like implementing it first? Does the players like, or do they think it's a distraction? How is it being taken by the marketplace?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was. Most of them did like it, especially the coaches. And in our case, it's the most important person in a club to make that decision to use a device or not is the coach. If the coach wants to use it, then the players have no word, and the management will have to pay the money. So the coaches, most of them liked it. They gave fantastic feedback, but with some ideas on how to maybe change the product, and that's why we changed from an armband to a vest. Was also the players. The players didn't really mind the coach being in their ear all the time, but they wanted something that's comfortable, that wouldn't just fall down or be difficult to just run with or tackle with. So most of the feedback that we got was very good actually, and helped us improve our product. But if just in general, if you look at what's going on now, how the coaches are dealing with this. In our presentation, we show incidents where coaches would write instructions on a piece of paper and ask players to hand it over to other players, on their team.
Yeah.
We also have one incident where Vanderlei Luxemburgo, in 2005, he was the coach of Real Madrid, and in 2005 they were playing against the MLS All Stars team, a friendly game in the US, and he asked Raul Gonzalez to wear an earpiece during the whole game, just so that he would be able to communicate with him. And he made an interview after the game saying that if they would allow me to do that in La Liga, I would do it in every game. It was so comfortable to just be able to communicate with your player or your captain all the time without having to shout and yell and jump and scream, and without having the other coach hear what you're saying, because they might be able to act on it and just counter your plans. We think that there's a real pain that we're solving, and the feedback that we got just proved it.
I can see some players, I can see some movie clips that you can put in your presentation where they're dragging the thing off their back and stamping on it because they're having an argument with.
we hope it doesn't happen. We hope it doesn't happen, but we will.
But it won't be down to your product. It'll be down to the relationship between the manager and the captain.
You're right.
Well, let's talk about let's kind of go on to another subject. What's your journey been like to get to be part of this Qatar Sportstech? What is your journey been, and what was it like pitching when you knew that you were going to get an opportunity? What did it feel like? And yeah, let's start there first.
It's great to be in this cohort of QST. I think there's every week we have workshops with very knowledgeable people. Everyone can add value to your company, and it being a sports focused accelerator is just what I think every startup at some point needs in their journey. There's a lot of information. The network that they offer is amazing. This is our second accelerator. We were in another accelerator with FC Köln in Germany, and it was a good experience. It helped us, improve our product. The network that we got, we had the opportunity through that to get pilots with a lot of clubs, including the Bundesliga team, FC Köln. And this is what we also look forward to with QST, to have pilots with Qatar Stars League teams, in addition to the introduction to Qatar Football Association, which we will very much need in our request to make amendment to the law and get that changed, and hopefully Armony will be used in World Cup 2022.
And with your pitches, you said that you've already been part of one accelerator program. Was that during the COVID, or was that outside of the COVID? So was there? It started in September 2019 and ended in end of January of this year. So COVID had not really hit that part at the
time.
Okay, so this is going to be a really good question. You're going through another hackathon, not a hackathon, another kind of incubation, and it's all to do with virtual. How has that affected you? What's the difference between the two? Have you seen any difference? Was it difficult to get used to, or how did you overcome it?
If I say that you know, we didn't experience any obstacles, or if it really did not affect us, I would be lying. You know, I would definitely rather be there in Qatar and be, you know, dealing face to face with the clubs and with the program people. But technology has definitely made it easier. Like, we have these workshops virtually. We're getting a lot of information. There's a lot yet to do for us to do. There's the pilots part where we will have our device used and tested by Qatari clubs. We hope that, you know, we will be in Qatar soon, maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks or so. But, you know, thus far, I think that it hasn't been ideal, but it hasn't been bad either. It's been really good, and the QST team especially were very good at, you know, just adapting really quickly to the situation and having everything virtually done.
Okay, I'm lucky enough to be in Qatar, and but I love the QST team. What they're doing is life changing for so many different people, and the way that Qatar does develop and other industries, not just sports, but other kind of fintech, those type of areas, it's incredible here. And again, going back to Qatar Sportstech, what they're doing is transforming so many different people, individuals, companies. With you say you started off with 2 people. Have you grown at all at the moment, or is your company growing? Is it going in the right direction?
So yeah, we're growing because we're not right now. I mean, our first customers were in Europe, were in Germany, in Denmark, in Spain. We expanded. After that, we expanded to the Middle East through, you know, the network that we have. We expanded to UAE, to Jordan. And right now we are entering the American market. We're getting good attention from American clubs and American coaches, and our plan is to focus on the American market now for 2021. So in that regard, yes, and I mean, in terms of revenue, obviously we see our revenue increasing with time. We're still working on many aspects of the business, but we obviously every day we feel like, you know, we're getting on the right track. So there's improvement on every day.
Is this something that's going to be easy to patent? So is it going to be something that everybody's going to get on, or are you kind of making sure that you go down that road of making sure that it is patented?
Look, easy, it's not going to be easy. I think nothing is easy, especially when you're coming up with a new idea, a new concept. You're not just telling people, hey, this is like that product, but better. You're coming up with a completely new concept. So I think it's not going to easy. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be life-changing. And, you know, our biggest dream, we always say this within our team, you know, our biggest dream is to make history in the game. You know, we want to sit down with our grandchildren one day when we're old and say, hey, you see this communication system the coach is using? We invented that. We introduced that to the game. And we think that we're on the right track to achieve that. But, you know, again, I mean, we're passionate about what you do. You can overcome all the obstacles and all the hurdles, but they're always there, and we're not an exception.
With you've just said about hurdles and obstacles. How important is it to face them head on? Because you know that some people they don't jump over them, and they wait for another few hurdles, so that they've got to jump 3 hurdles instead of just getting over every single one as they come. How important is not to run away from obstacles?
It's vital. I mean, if you run away, if you keep something and say, hey, I'll have to deal with that later, or if you maybe quit after the first 1 or 2 or first, second problem, then, you know, you'll just not be in the business for long. No one will hear about you. You wouldn't be sitting with Steve doing this podcast. It's just, you know, you just have to quit. But this applies not only to startups, but it applies to life in general. Even if you're working, you're an employee in a company, you'll be facing problems each and every day. You have to deal with it, and this is what life is about. But this is what makes the taste of success even better when you achieve it. If you don't suffer, if you don't work hard, if you just theoretically, hypothetically, you get everything served to you on a silver plate, then I don't think that would taste good.
I love your comments. I love them. It kind of, nothing does come easy, and you've got to work at it. And it's people say, oh, I was lucky. There is luck, but there's never luck. You work, it comes to you. You've got to work damn hard. What's been your real highlights with your journey that you've been on? What are the ones that have kind of defined you?
Good question. Look, I think I'll go back to the first or second question you asked. What people said to you at the beginning. I think in my case, a lot of people did not really believe in this, did not really believe even in me as a person or in my co-founders. But at the beginning, you're just like, I know they're wrong and I'm gonna do it anyway. But you still hold on some, bad feelings towards them. You think, oh, they don't want me to succeed. But when you do it, when you succeed and experience that success, you start telling yourself that it wasn't. I think maybe it was just normal for them to do that, but it's also, if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for proving them wrong, sometimes you wouldn't have achieved what you have. And I think that's very important. I mean, for me, it was something that I experienced really very often, and it just makes me feel better or really good about what I'm doing now, and it gives me the ambition to just wake up every day and say, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. This is why I'm waking up every day, to do this and to work in Armony and to succeed. So, yeah.
This is a great opportunity. You're going to be taking part. Well, you're already taking part in the QST, the incubator. Then you've got all these doors that's going to come open to you. The QSL, the BN Sports. There's going to be so many people that are going to be knocking your door, because this type of thing that they're going to be really, really interested in. How do you see your future going right now? What's your priorities?
Our 2-year dream or milestone is to be in the World Cup, to be in the Qatar World Cup 2022, and we'll do everything we can to achieve that. I think that being selected for this program came just at the very right moment for us. We'll try to leverage the network that QST offers, all the connections that we can make, all the clubs that we can add to our portfolio. They will be vital for us to achieve our milestone of being in the World Cup. I think we don't like to think beyond that. We do have plans, to expand to other sports and that sort of thing. But for us, the main objective is to be in the World Cup 2022, and we'll leverage on the Qatar Sportstech Accelerator to achieve that.
I'm going backwards and forwards here, and I do apologize for anybody that's listening, but I do like to try and get in your kind of position. And I'm thinking to myself, I remember, because I was in the accelerator building, and I remember that you were all pitching. There was 20 of you, and it was going to come down to 10. What was that like?
Oh, that was a good day. Looking, I mean, in hindsight, it was a good day because we were selected. It was a tough day, of course. I mean, it was like 6 hours long or something, and you had to pitch to a new group of people every 5-10 minutes. We were really anxious, but we were confident at the same time, because we knew that we have something special, we have something new. We're not perfect, but we were working on it, and we have made good progress. So I look back at that day, and I'm really happy that, you know, we were lucky enough to be selected and to be here today, you know. So yeah, it was not easy because all of the startups were really good, you know. They came
Really good.
with the best in the biz, you know. So it's really a big honor to be here.
It was extremely competitive, and it's like, who knew what the outcome and who was going to get through? And it was there were so many big surprises, or there were so many kind of people thinking, oh, I thought they were. Do you know what I mean? It was one of those. So congratulations. Anyway, that was just fantastic to get through. With this type of thing, with what you're doing as an entrepreneur, you've got your application, or not your application, you've got your project. What would be your advice that was going to start on this road, not particularly to the same product, but what is your advice that people are going to go down and they were going to start getting into the startup industry, trying to get kind of recognized, getting into some incubators? What's your advice for them? Where do they get better, or before they even start?
I think my advice on this regard is unorthodox. The problem with that, you know, the reason we don't see a lot of startups succeeding, or even actually being started, you know, being implemented, great ideas that were not implemented in the first place, is that the founders will start listening to those gurus, you know, and people who did it before, and they'll always be trying to get credit for what they did. So they will intentionally or unintentionally try to make it look like it's harder than it is. You know, it's hard, but it's not that hard. It's doable, you know, and anyone can do it. My advice is that, you know, if you have a good idea, just start simple, start small, try to take it step by step. Don't be like, oh my God, whoa. I mean, if we grow to 1,000 employees, how am I going to handle that? I don't have any experience. You know, when you get to that point, you'll figure it out, you know. And Mark Zuckerberg didn't know how to run a billion-dollar company before he started Facebook. He did it, you know. And he's not better than you or me or anyone else. If you have a good idea, take it step by step. Don't listen to whatever BS you hear from founders and, you know, the books that are written about entrepreneurship and startups and things like that. These are just theories, and, you know, when you're applying it to your daily business, it usually isn't the case for you. Every startup is different. Don't listen to people. Just do what you know. And if you're passionate about what you're doing, you'll do it. You know, you'll figure it out step by step. So I mean, this is my advice. And look, I think that 90% of success is luck. No one will tell you that. No one will ever want to tell you that you know, they succeeded because they lucked out. But you know what? All of them lucked out at some point. You name it, whoever it is, you know, luck played a big role in their success, bigger than hard work. Not because hard work is not important, because hard work is, you have to put it, even if you're an employee, if you work for the man, you're putting in as much hard work as any entrepreneur, if you have your own business. So, you know, if you don't get lucky,
I'm, as you can tell, I'm not really, you have to have a little bit of luck, without a shadow of a doubt. And I don't know how you put luck. I think that I listened to something on YouTube going back a couple of months ago, and somebody said that timing's very important. Time is extremely important, because you might just be in a time where your idea, your concept is not ready yet. It's not, nobody can, it's so advanced that people don't understand it just yet. And it's like, let's look at your project. I bet there was a lot of people that looked up and said, listen, you're not even allowed to do this yet. It's kind of, are you crazy? But you're not crazy. You've made it happen, and people are talking to you now. And one thing that I say is that you always focus on your own game. It's up to you. You make whatever decision you make the right decision, because you're going to follow it through, and only you are going to make it happen. And I think that's important to startups.
I totally agree with you. You know, just do it your own way and believe in yourself. What I meant by luck here is that, you know, these things are a must. You know, you have to have a good timing. You have to do the hard work. You have to, you know, overcome the obstacles. But what I meant to say is that sometimes you can do this perfectly. You can do all of that perfectly, but you just don't get lucky, and it doesn't work. Thing is that, you know, I said 90% is luck and 10% is hard work. The problem is that you wouldn't get the 90% luck unless you get the full 10% of hard work. But you do that, and then you wait for the 90%.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's nothing. My friend used to say to me, what did he used to say? He used to say, everything comes to the you waits as long as you work your backside off. And it's like, and there was another one, and I'll share with everybody. It was, I said to him, I said, you know something, I'm not sleeping at night. He said, you better work twice as hard then. He said, then you'll sleep.
You're right.
But there was little people along my way that gave me these little things that have stuck with me forever. And it's like, you're not sleeping at night, you work twice as hard then. You'll be okay, you'll sleep. With the pitching, just tell people, when you had to do the pitch, how long was your pitch that you had to try and get everything out to these judges to try to get your ticket?
Yeah, it was 3 minutes. 3 minutes, which is really, that's the challenge, you know, with these pitches. Sometimes you go and pitch to an investor, for example, and you have all the time in the world. Yeah, you better keep it brief and short, but you're not limited to 3 minutes. But when you have only 3 minutes, then it really gets hard, because sometimes you think when you're preparing it, you're like, this piece of information is vital. I have to put it out there, but I don't have the time. So you start, you know, picking and dropping it from equally important information that you have to provide. But I mean, it's hard, but it's a skill that, you know, you have to learn at some point.
And you've got all these things that you're trying to think in, what are they wanting to hear you say? But it's like what we said before, you've got to focus on your own game. It's like you've got to let it come from within, and you've got to get it out in 3 minutes.
Exactly.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. You just have to think, you know, if I were one of them, what would I want to hear in 3 minutes? Like, what's the most important thing? Okay, there are so many important things, but either there are 1 or 2 things that you have to just mention, and you just focus on that, and use the time to explain that, then wait to get lucky again.
Mo, how does somebody get in? Is there a website there that people can get a hold of where they can go and see what you're doing, your progress, Instagram? What are those? Can you give us some of your accounts that they can go and see your stuff?
Sure. They just have to go to armonysports.com. That's our website, and on that they will find our social media handles. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and Twitter. So it's Armory. Armony. That's ARMONY sports.com.
Perfect. Yeah, good on you. So everybody, go and look at their progress. Go and see what they've adapted, and you've done a really, really fantastic job. And congratulations on how far you've come to get it to this stage. I think you're going to give a lot of people some consideration, and I hope you do change the world. And I do. I can't wait to meet you, and I can't wait for you to be part of the World Cup.
Thank you so much, Steve. And you're obviously one of the people who are doing something they're passionate about. I can see it in the way you speak, the way you sort of craft these questions. You're amazing. And I have done a lot of interviews, but this one is amazing. And you really enjoyed it so much. It was a real pleasure to speak to you, Steve.
When I speak to people like yourself, it just, you know, we've gone through so much turmoil in the last 6 months or even more now. It's like and all our lives have been turned upside down. So when I meet somebody like you, and you're so passionate and determined, and you just, nothing's going to get in your way. It gives me, and you're a nice person also. it's like, it gives me inspiration that the world's going to be okay. You know, you see a lot of bad things that's happening, but when I listen to people like yourself, of course, I'm going to get excited. It's not because it's not just about the business, as you said when you first came on. It's not about the business. It's not about the money. It's about making a difference. It's about putting something in there that I can talk about this when I've got my kids or grandkids, and we can discuss and look back on my life, because that's what we've all got a story, and you've shared your story wonderfully well today. Congratulations, and thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Steve. I'm humbled to hear you say that. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed that. I also can't wait to be in Qatar and meet you in person and discuss this even further. Thank you so much for
Mo. Keep going, please. Keep going, and keep us informed. Keep us informed on your progress. I can't wait to keep on listening to what's going to happen to you. So keep on pushing. Don't give in. Just keep knocking those doors down. Thank you very much, Mo. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. As you can see, this is what it takes. If you want it that bad, you can get it. You can get it. Anybody can get it. You've got the power to do it. Don't ever accept people saying, no, this is what you've got in your life. You can do anything you want. I promise you. Look at Mo's story. Look at everybody's story. Okay, you can do it. Just take messages from people like Mo, and you can be in our positions, or you can be somewhere. You can build yourself back up. Just do it. Don't give in. Anyway, Mo, thank you very much. Thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks for now. Cheers then.
Cheers.
Bye.
Everyone, thank you for listening. Please send us your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And don't forget to review us on your favorite podcast app.